Welcome to another installment of 5 Minute Licks. If you're anything like me, you've probably been a little bit sad and very reflective over the last day or so on hearing the news of Eddie Van Halen's death. So this particular installment of 5 Minute Licks is going to be a little bit of a tip of the hat to Ed, because I want to show you a tapping lick that I've been doing for years that was inspired by EVH. And most of us think of two-handed tapping and Van Halen, and we think of the arpeggios in Eruption, and that has just become such a cliche way to use tapping. It's easy to forget how innovative it was when it came out. You know, there's stories of people hearing that on record for the first time back in the late 70s and just thinking it was either sped up or he had used a keyboard. There was no way that could be electric guitar, and they were wrong. And it just kind of speaks volumes about how innovative that technique was, that it was shocking and it was quite revolutionary, and nowadays it's essentially a cliche. So this particular lick just kind of builds a few little things on that. I'll show it to you in context really quickly, and then I'll break the lick down for you. So if you haven't spent some of your formative years as a guitar player kind of sitting there trying to play those Eruption triads, you know, maybe trying to impress a friend going, hey man, I could totally practice this in my bedroom, and you're going, you can't quite get it, and you're like, man, I could play this so much better at home. You're not alone. We have all been there. The core idea here is I'm actually tapping some notes on the B string and the E string. You can do this with one finger. I just like to be fancy and use a couple of fingers. Again, just because it looks cool, and for me it makes it a little bit easier. It may not make it easier for you, but this is what we're doing. We're barring fret 5 on the top two strings, so it's an E note and a B note. The notes we're going to tap are as follows: fret 10 on the B string, then fret 12 and 10 on the high E string. Those notes are A, that's fret 10 on the B string, and then we've got E and D, and we're going to be hammering on fret 5 to fret 8 on the high E string. So essentially we're outlining the notes of a minor pentatonic scale, almost all the notes. I guess it would be like a minor add 11 arpeggio, but who cares? Just try this. The first thing we want to get down, the first thing I would recommend practicing, is just put your first finger in that bar position and practice tapping fret 12 on the high E. Then swap to your ring finger and do that. Then try 10 and 12 just to get that two-handed thing down. Now, here's the trick with the lick. It sounds really, really complicated, but once you actually sit down and try and play it, it makes a lot more sense. What I'm doing is I'm hammering on and pulling off with my right hand on the B string. Then while I'm holding down that 10th fret, I'm doing the tap on the 12th fret. So you then need to practice this. If you want to make it a major sounding lick, just move your pinky up to fret 9. So that's the lick. If you can do the Eruption style triplets, you can probably do this lick in next to no time. It's a really fun one. I'm going to show it to you again in the context of a quick little track where I'm going to just kind of break down how I would practice it, and then I'll just put it into the context of a little solo for you all. If you want to get the backing track, it is up on my Patreon, and I would highly encourage you, take this idea and think about the way it builds on that, I guess, traditional Van Halen style triplet tapping thing, and think about how you could do something a little bit more out of the ordinary with it. You know, you could skip strings, or you could use multiple fingers on strings, or you could have this kind of spread out over things that aren't necessarily arpeggios. You could try play scales with this. There are so many ways to use this two-handed technique, but none of us would be doing it without Eddie at all. That's just how it is. He was such an innovative and revolutionary guitar player, and he's going to be missed. So thank you so much for watching the video. I'll see you next time.